The investigative committees of the House have been engaged in an impeachment inquiry into President Donald Trump's efforts to solicit foreign interference in the 2020 elections, efforts that compromised our national security and threatened the integrity of our elections. Throughout this inquiry, he has attempted to conceal the evidence from Congress and from the American people. Our president holds the ultimate public trust. When he betrays that trust and puts himself before country, he endangers the Constitution, he endangers our democracy, and he endangers our national security.
Okay, so the House Democrats have unveiled 2 articles of impeachment against President Donald J. Trump. Why am I upset? Well, I'm upset because I've been talking about how this would be a tremendous mistake since day one. I have been an advocate and a staunch supporter of impeaching Donald Trump because he is perhaps the most impeachable president of all time, okay? With maybe the exception of like George W. Bush, who was a war criminal, which Nancy Pelosi recently defended her decision not to impeach. I think it was like last night. Shocking. Or 2 days ago, which was shocking to me. That's totally separate. Now, why am I upset? Well, because there are only 2 articles of impeachment that have been drawn against Donald Trump here. One is that he abused his power, tied to his demand that the Ukrainian president investigate a political rival. And 2, he obstructed Congress in an effort to investigate the behavior. Now, the reason why I'm upset about this is because if you look at the history of impeachment, and you don't have to be a historian or anything, if you look at the history of impeachment, you will find that Bill Clinton, who was impeached on the grounds that he had an extramarital affair in the White House, which is not illegal, but then perjured himself, was impeached on had 2 articles of impeachment drawn against him. One was the accusation was perjury, and the other one was, I believe, obstructing justice, right? Which is, the one charge was that he lied to a grand jury, and then the other one was that he tried to obstruct justice. Now, what's shocking to me is that Bill Clinton didn't even commit a very obvious offense. Bill Clinton's problem was perjury, which is bad, but nowhere near as severe as utilizing the office to continue to grow your wealth, or which is a direct violation of the Emoluments Clause, potential violations of campaign finance laws, locking children in cages, and overextending your executive powers in office, and numerous other issues. Like the Ukraine situation is obviously the most serious and the most obvious and the most transparent instance of corruption. But to only attack Donald Trump on that issue and to hyper-focus on that and only draw 2 articles of impeachment specifically surrounding the Ukrainian deal, the Ukrainian quid pro quo, just because it's easiest to nail him on it, is so foolhardy, it's so foolish, and it's going to be essentially just a retrial of the Russia investigation, specifically because Ukraine sounds a lot like Russia too, from the in the eyes of the American people. This is a political process. The most important thing here is how politically viable it is for specific Democrats and even potentially some Republicans to vote in favor of impeachment in the Senate, which is likely not even going to happen because Republicans are all partisan vultures and they would never dare offend Daddy Trump. Now, contrary to the Bill Clinton thing, the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because Richard Nixon had 6 articles of impeachment drawn against him. 6. So obviously there is already a precedent for stacking your deck, especially when the president is as openly corrupt as Nixon is, or as openly corrupt as Donald Trump is. So I just do not understand why we are hyper focusing on the 2 articles of impeachment. But I hope I'm wrong. I do genuinely think that this is a mistake, though. I believe that we should have continued this investigation, continued to talk about the violation of the Emoluments Clause, and numerous other violations committed by Donald Trump, and then also tried to get him to perjure himself, because he was going to perjure himself regardless. The man cannot stop lying. But maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope the Democrats are right. I'm Hasan Piker. I want to hear from you guys in the comments below, and this has been The Breakdown.